Okay. Hey guys, hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone that's watching this is fine. My name is Zach, and today we will be speaking with Josh Picardo from Spend. Um, how are you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing great. I'm actually checking in from Mountain Dow out here in Utah. Um,
Utah. Okay.
yeah,
Dead center of the states.
it's more towards the west side of the
More
country.
toward. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Is that close to Salt Lake City? I know that's the capital of
yeah,
Utah. Am I correct?
yeah. That's actually where we're at right now. Yeah, Mountain
Nice.
Dow's where a bunch of builders come together and founders on Solana. So it's been really
It's
nice to meet other
It's like a
builders out
hub
here.
of workers, right? Hub of builders in the space, I heard. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
So could you give us a brief intro of yourself? We know that you're part of Spend. Could you tell a bit about your positioning there, who you are, etc.?
yeah, absolutely. So I'm Josh. I'm the co-founder. I'm the CEO, COO. I handle the operational side of Spend, and I also am a technical founder as well. So I'm working on the project as well. I've been
Okay.
in this space for since 2020, and I started my journey in development a little right after that. Once I got into the space and I really got the vision of crypto is going to change the way that we do everything. That's what motivated me to get into development and get on the forefront of this cutting edge technology. And
Okay.
that's my
So you
a little
got
bit
you.
about my journey.
So you guys co-founded Spend, right? So it wasn't just it was you guys came up with the idea together, or was it someone's um, uh, inspiration or idea, and then you guys came together? Are you friends with your co-founder, or are you only like um, uh, sort of working on Spend together? Do you guys have a history?
Yeah,
How's
absolutely.
how's that?
It's a funny story actually. So my founder Kent, uh, he was basically my brother's neighbor. He lives out in Houston. We're Texas
Okay.
based out here in the U.S. And I was living with my brother at the time, and whenever I met Kenton, he had been a developer for some years, and I was like, hey, I'm really into crypto. He didn't really care too much about it at the time,
So
and
not a blockchain developer, just okay.
he's an iOS developer
I
by
see.
trade. Yeah, and ever since I met him, I was like, hey, we need to make Web3 projects, and for a while he wasn't really hearing it, and yeah, I was able to get his
Convince
wife.
him.
Yeah, his wife is actually an artist on Solana. Her name's Degens,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, she's really creative with art and music, and so I told her, hey, you should start making NFTs and dropping them, and so I first introduced her into this space, and then he kind of slowly
Must have
started to see the vision.
I was about to say it must have done pretty well for her because actually like 2020, 2021 was when all the Soul collections, popped up. So if
Yeah,
she did art for some of them, must have been pretty good for her.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's we've been pretty tight knit since we've met, and we only live a few hours away from each other, but we do plan to
That's good.
uh move closer together so we can work in person together. So we're definitely tight knit
I
founders.
see. So he's not in Salt Lake City right now with you. Okay.
He's actually
Okay.
sitting right next to me. He's
Oh,
work
nice. Nice.
deving out the platform while I take the call.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to dive a bit into Spend and just for the beginning, could you describe maybe Spend and its core like value propositions in your own words, for somebody perhaps like me, I don't know what Spend is. What is Spend?
Right, yeah. Spend is basically the easiest way to spend your stable coins and get anything you want off of Amazon. And kind of going to when you asked me about the vision and kind of how this came to be, to kind of touch on that. Since I've been in this space, one thing that I've definitely noticed is whenever people have crypto, the one biggest thing was like, hey, how can I spend my crypto for things in the real world?
That is so
And
true.
yeah, and I feel like that's always been a friction point. So there's that. And then uh spend kind of was a pivot from a previous project that we did. So we competed in the AI agent Solana hackathon, which was towards the end of last year. And we were doing a project called AI Car Dealer. Essentially, it was an AI agent that would help find whatever you were looking for, and then you would be able to pay in Solana. And
Okay,
after the hackathon concluded, we kind of sat there and thought, well, the barrier to entry for a car is kind of high, and not everybody is in the market for a car. So then we
right.
tried to rethink the concept a little bit, and then we landed on, well, hey, anybody can spend like $10, $20 on Amazon and, get an everyday product that they need. And so that's really like how Spin came about, was a pivot off that idea.
Yes, I actually want to mention that sometimes, when you actually do have a lot in crypto, to be able to spend that, you need to stay KYCing at some exchange, withdrawing it to your bank. Most of the times, the banks don't even accept crypto deposits to the bank, so you have to somehow use perhaps a virtual bank and get it deposited there, and then you can spend it. So this is actually, in my eyes at least, definitely solving that problem, right? So, if I want to buy something, I had to stay going to Binance or Coinbase or whatever, you know, um, uh, sometimes you need to say explaining where this crypto came from, and like there's people are making money on meme coins or whatever. How are you gonna explain that?
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that you touched on that too, because yeah, we do offer this service, no KYC, and um the way that we're able to do that is we're the KYC'd entity, and we're buying these products on the behalf of the user and then distributing that to them. So we're essentially brokering transactions, and
You guys
I
are
like to
essentially responsible for that. Like you guys are the third party, right? Right. So you guys are
exactly,
responsible for what's happening. Okay.
exactly. So,
Okay.
and kind of to another point that you're making, I think the individuals that don't have access to a bank account or an ID as easily as we do over here in the US, now they can participate in being able to buy products from Amazon. And I mean, we plan to add more stores down the line. We just started with Amazon.
I mean, yeah, I think of some people that make a living in the space and they obviously get paid in crypto. Like I know many, I used to work for many NFT projects, and I know there are many um, uh, people in Africa and in India and Southeast Asia, and perhaps in these parts, they are very not crypto friendly. And especially if they're earning a living on crypto, how are they going to spend it, right? So I feel
Yeah,
like builders that are coming up with new ways on how to actually spend your coins, right? Is definitely helping out a lot of people. I mean, you can easily see how that's possible.
right,
Um,
right.
uh, I, I want to jump in because you mentioned some barriers to entry. I wanted to talk about, in your experience, right, when starting up spend. I don't know, perhaps with compliance or regulation. Are there some barriers to entry in the ecom crypto niche? That you have experienced so far, or tell
Yeah,
me a bit about
sure.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, uh, to kind of touch on like the regulatory side of things, like you were mentioning, so what protects what we're doing is where there's a fine line between transmitting funds and facilitating transactions. And so we're facilitating transactions, and that's like the area that covers us, um, because we're only holding on to user funds long enough to process their order and their
Right.
transaction. So um, we're accepting crypto on one side, and we have a fiat pool, and we're making those purchases from the fiat pool, and everything's getting automated through our API on the back end for the
Right.
ordering.
Okay. 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 So, right. I mean, that makes sense because Amazon itself does not accept um, crypto. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why you need a fiat pool. Okay. Okay. I see where you're at. So, would you say that the barrier itself is actually being getting these like licenses or something, or like to be able to actually facilitate transactions on behalf of other people? Is that the barrier?
No, I wouldn't say it's a barrier, but what I would touch on that we have been figuring out recently is So we've been out here at Mountain Dog for the last 2 weeks, and right as we were getting here, we started getting our first orders outside the U.S.
Mm.
Most before that point, all our orders had been in the U.S., and we had that system down pretty well. And so getting to learn about how everything works in these other countries, we've kind
Wait,
of
when
had.
you mean orders from outside the US, is people from outside the US are placing orders, and you need to ship, as in, sorry, what am I saying? I'm saying, so people outside of the US are placing orders, and obviously, um, I feel like the line is that they are sending crypto from outside the states. Is that where the
Yeah, so
sort
Amazon
of
actually has separate like TLDs that you shop from depending on where you live. So if you live
right,
in the
right?
UK, you shop .UK. So
.us,
um
.au, yeah.
right, so you basically just shop under where what region TLD covers your region. And so our first orders that we've gotten was from Austria, Spain, Croatia, and Germany. And so Germany covers like some neighboring countries like Austria and the Balkan area.
Hmm.
Um, and so I guess for like each country, the way that they have their addresses set up and things like that, that's like where we've been fine tuning our system and figuring that out. But everything's gone pretty smoothly. Everybody that's ordered international has been able to get their order, and they're really excited about it. I know I've talked to a few people, and they're like, "This is a dream come true," because I've been looking for something like this for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would say that's like where. Uh, we've been figuring things out a little bit.
That's good. That's good. And actually, like even some banks, they have like spending limits, So sometimes you're not even able to make rather large purchases. Where, this is obviously solved with crypto. You know, I'm assuming there is no limit with how much people are able to transact with you guys. Um,
I think
in
that's something that
general,
we're still figuring out. I know like in the US, like anything over 10,000 kind of raises a flag. So I know we're still looking into that, but
right?
thankfully like, people aren't ordering that much yet. So I know that's something that we
Because
definitely need
spending
to look
10,000 on
into.
Amazon is a bit rare. I feel like, yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think
Okay.
we've been okay for now.
So you guys are um uh, strictly stable coins, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, as in people can spend stable coins like USDC, USDT on the platform to buy these products. Have you guys planned to expand into more chains or payment methods, perhaps? Or tell me a bit about that. Like, for example, if I have Sol or ETH, right? Um, uh, do I need to swap to a stable coin to spend it with you guys first? How's that
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
like?
yeah, absolutely. So currently we accept three different currencies on our platform. We accept USDC, SOL, and Bonk. So you can spend any of those currently. And the
Bonk, I like
recommended,
Bonk.
right, yeah, Bonk's a good one.
Good one.
And so the recommended currency is going to be USDC, and we really want to be leaning into the stable coins because that's really what the narrative is right now, and that's what's really bringing adoption. I feel like in this space, and even with just like commerce and being able to shop, because whenever you think about it, any just small mom and pop shop, they don't want to
Yeah.
necessarily accept a volatile asset.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, if you go to a normal shop, they're not gonna accept every currency, right? Let's say if you're in Europe, you're spending euros. So the same way, I feel like if you're in the States or wherever you are, you're gonna be
right,
spending fiat, and the crypto equivalent is gonna be USDC, USDT. So that makes sense. Okay, you want to sort of give the idea that okay, fiat can also be in crypto. You don't need to
right,
stay worrying about volatility because obviously that's a big part in holding funds in Sol or Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? It's volatile, right? So
right.
um, stablecoin makes sense. Okay. Well, now that we know a bit more about spend, I have one last question to do with spend, and then we'll move on to some more general topics.
Okay.
I want to know where you guys are mainly funnel. Like, obviously, you guys have limited resources, right? Every startup doesn't have infinite resources, right? So it's very important to efficiently, funnel those resources into, you know, um, the most important parts of the project. So where are you guys funneling your resources, or did it change as time um, went on? Tell me a bit about where you guys are putting most of your energy and resources into.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, to this point, we've been entirely bootstrapped with everything that we've built. We have received a grant from All Might US, and
Hmm.
we recently just got accepted into the Build with Monkey DAO program. So we're going to be receiving a grant and some support from
Nice.
them. Um, we do plan to raise at some point in the future, but we're definitely just trying to go the grant route and see, what we're able to get from that. And as
Okay.
far as like our plan for distribution, we've uh been getting strategic partnerships. So we've been in beta the last month and a half and been iterating on all the feedback that we've been getting, and we plan to publicly launch within the next month. Um, just given based on the feedback we've been given,
Okay.
and our partners that we have right now, we have a partnership with Slow Flare, Super Team Balkan, All Might. We just got Monkey DAO, and we have a few
Monkey Daw's
others
a
that
pretty
we're in
good
talk
one.
with. Right?
That's
Yeah,
nice.
they're a staple in this community for sure. And so from that point, I mean, we're using those partnerships to help us with the distribution. I know we've also been in talk with Solana Foundation on some amplification when we do our public launch. So um, yeah, we're doing
Okay.
everything organically at the moment and focusing our efforts there.
Okay. That's very good. I like that answer, Organic is important, especially when you're limited. Okay, well, now that we went into spend, I'm going to move on to a bit of a more general approach. Mainly, I want to know, or I'm sure other people want to know, that maybe want to start their own startup. Tell us, in your experience, any pain points or any hassles that you had to deal with. Maybe not um, um, for spend, but maybe for other ventures that you deal with or other startups that you may have helped out with. What are some pain points, right, that really stuck?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, actually. Yeah, so like as I kind of talked about earlier, how me and Kent met. So for like the last 3 years, we came together and we created like our own development firm, and then we've made a few projects, but really up to this point, nothing's really worked out the way that we wanted it to. Nor did I feel like maybe those ideas were necessarily the best. But I feel like you learn more from success. I'm sorry, you learn more from failure than you do success.
That's true.
And I feel like I've learned a lot from the projects that haven't worked out and the no's that we've gotten because I feel like, when you talk about like trying to fundraise or get partnerships and all of these different things in line, a lot
Right.
of the times you're going to get a no too, right? And it's like, how do you deal with that? And how
It's
do you,
tiring. It
right?
can, what's the word? It can really put you off, especially when you're putting so much energy into something you think is great, right?
Yeah,
Definitely a pain point is being told no, right? Because,
right,
it's like a baby to you, you're putting so much time and effort into this thing, right? And you
right.
just want
Yeah.
people to understand.
Yeah, so I feel like if you never give up, you never can truly lose. And so I guess like my piece of advice is just if you have a vision or you have a goal in mind, no matter the road bumps or whatever comes along that journey, I mean it's happening because you need to learn something from it. So
Right,
I just keep an open mind to learn from success and failure. And
right.
as long as you're learning from everything along your journey and you never quit, I believe you're gonna always end up where you were looking to be. And
I
so
mean,
yeah,
if you quit, you have a zero percentage, right, of making it a
exactly.
success. So you can't. Well, actually, now that you mentioned advice, we know that you've been in the space since 2020. Spend came about last year after the AI agent hackathon that you mentioned, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Right. So I want to tell you, let's say, okay, it's 2025 now. Let's say you went 5 years back. If you could go 5 years back to when you first went into the space, do you have any, proper pointers that you would tell yourself, like, do this, don't do that? What advice would you give yourself 5 years back?
Um, well, I mean, I've definitely round tripped a lot of things in this space. But I think that comes with the going back to like the learning. Whenever I first came into the space, I didn't really know too many people. And so a lot of the things that I was trying to learn about Web3, I was just learning by trial and error. Like I know I've sent money to a wrong address and then
Right.
wasn't able to get that back or things like that. But I definitely just I don't think I would change anything just because I feel like everything happens the way that it needs to. And if everything didn't happen the way that it has, then like I don't
Then
know
you
if
wouldn't
I'd
be
be
here,
doing what I'm
right?
doing.
Right.
And so I guess like I said, I just keep an open mind to what's happening and just know that there's always something to be learned from whatever
Right.
situation that you're going through. So I don't think I would change anything if I'm being honest.
That's good. I mean, I feel like most of the time, as long as you're doing what you need to do, everything else sort of falls into place, in
Yeah,
its own pace. Have some faith, things will work out as long as
there,
you're doing what you need to do, right?
yeah, there's definitely beauty in the struggle. You just have to
Yes.
be
Yes.
open-minded to see it.
Yes. A bit of obsession, a bit of delusion, and you'll get there.
Exactly, exactly. That's the perfect recipe right there.
Okay, okay. So, with startups, right? Many people are typically either working already a full-time job or a part-time job, doing this on the side. It can take a lot of toll on you, right? A lot of stress, especially if you're trying to manage so many things at once. Many people don't have the luxury to give 100% of their time into a startup because obviously it's not making money first and they need to live, right? Costs to live. So I
Yeah.
want to ask you, how did you manage building while earning an income if you were working IRL or where you were in Web3 full time? Did you experience burnout? Were there points where you actually wanted to maybe take a break from Web3 because it can be so stressful at sometimes? I know I have thought about taking a break sometimes from Web3 because it is so difficult to be in touch with
Right.
everything. It moves so
Yeah.
quick, right?
Right.
So that's something I want to know how you dealt with,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's another great question. So, yeah, I guess before spend working on some of these other projects, I was working full time and trying to manage a startup, and then really, I guess I'm fortunate enough. Like over this past year, I just made the decision to move back with family and just focus fully on getting my startup off the ground. And yeah, I'm just grateful I've been able to put my time to that. I know not everybody has that opportunity, but and before that, I was juggling working all the hours and then trying to focus on the startup, which definitely it, you have to be 100%
Yeah,
your energy to
I
your
get what you're
project,
saying. But
right?
was
Yeah,
this something when you were young? Like, for example, when you were at university or college in the States, they call it.
yeah,
What did you know that you wanted to take a risk, start a startup? Obviously, it's a risk, right?
yeah. It is
It's
a
it's
risk.
much easier to, or it might. I feel like sometimes it may be easier to work full time with a stable income, right? Or safer, perhaps. Did you know from a younger age that you wanted to dive into startups or do your own thing or try to at least?
I would say no. So I'm 29 right now, and so when I was going to school, or previously when I was going to college, I was going to school to be a nurse, and
Okay.
so my mind was kind of set on that. And then, there was really kind of one day where I was like, I don't know if I actually have a passion for this.
Hmm.
But every time it came to technology, I could just see how everything around us is. changing because of technology. Like I feel like I grew up at a pretty pivotal moment because when I was growing up using computers, I still used floppy disks like at one point, which most people
Right.
like this generation
It's true.
probably
Like, wait, if
doesn't
you're
understand that.
29, you must be like 1998 or something like
Six
that.
96.
1996. So that's like when technology was like getting ready and people were like, discovering this new thing. So I feel like you
Right.
experienced um, uh, the very early days of it, and now into obviously the deeper days that we are now. So um, uh,
Yeah.
you could definitely see the changes. Okay, so you didn't always want to do this. First, you wanted to become a nerd. Was there like an aha moment where you were like, "Let me dive into Web3"? Um,
Yeah.
uh, what was the
Yeah.
pivot exactly?
Yeah, so back in 2020, when COVID was around, I was just s- trying to search for different things to get involved in or do. And at the time, I had came across Forex trading, trading currency pairs. And once I got into that, I got exposed to Bitcoin.
Okay,
Um, and so once I found Bitcoin, my interest peaked, and then I started looking more into Web3. And once I really understood the concept of Web3, I had the vision of like I could see how it's going to change everything that we do on every level. I knew it wasn't going to be overnight, but
right. It takes time.
I knew that's the direction that we were heading, and that was kind of like the aha moment for me where I really wanted to get involved on the forefront of what's being
Right,
built in this space to make a positive impact. Because I mean, ultimately, I build because I have a passion for helping other people, and I just know that everything else is going to come with that.
right,
And I feel
right.
like the solution that we're building helps a lot of people because this is a major pain point for so many people in this space.
It does. It does. I mean, at first I couldn't. At first, I didn't realize how useful it actually was. But then I remember like spending crypto is not easy everywhere, right? Obviously, some first world cities, they have maybe you can spend it somewhere or hotels and stuff through certain
Right.
apps. But in general, it hasn't people countries have not adopted it yet, or businesses have not adopted it to the point where you can comfortably live off crypto alone. I feel like. Um,
Right.
um, okay, okay, I see, I see. That's good. So, would you say that if you weren't doing Web3 or if you weren't doing spend, that you'd be working in a hospital, or do you feel like like if you weren't doing Web3, if you weren't building spend right now, what do you think you would be doing, right? Do
Man,
you
I feel
have
like
that at
that's
the
a
back of
scary
your
thought.
head? Do you have that at the back of your head, like, all right, if this disappeared tomorrow, what am I going to spend my time on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I feel like that's a scary thought if I never found Web3 or developing. Because honestly, I feel like I don't even really know what I would be doing. But I mean, if I'm always prepared for if something doesn't work, and that's why I chose to be a builder because if something that I'm building doesn't work, there's always something else that can be built. There's many problems in the world that need solutions to those
Yes,
problems.
never
And
endless
so
problems.
I think regardless, I'll find another problem that'll need a solution. I feel like that's my
Okay,
mindset.
okay, okay.
Always building.
Right. I mean, you definitely give me the impression now in this 30 minutes that we've been speaking that you like to do your own thing, or you like to
Yeah,
actually make an impact, right?
right.
Which is very, very inspiring. Um, I want to ask you if somebody that wants to start a startup, specifically in Web3 with crypto, um, uh, what advice would you give them to start initially? Like, do you want them to be a consumer first to understand how it is like to be a consumer and what consumers want? Would you maybe tell them to just start it, try, fail, try again? Like, I know it's spend. Obviously, it wasn't your first venture, right? So you had you sort of had the experience of okay, I have this project, I have this idea, let's try it out. let's go, head on. Um, uh, but yeah, somebody in 2025 wants to get into Web3, wants to build something. How do they get into the space? How do they integrate themselves? How do they network? How do they make this a living,
Yeah, absolutely. I think you brought up a great point. I think, in my opinion, starting off as a consumer to understand how things work from a user side um, definitely gives you good perspective on like how the blockchain actually works and the reasons why we're trying to use it. Um, I kind of blanked out for a second. Can you ask the question again? I'm
Don't
sorry.
worry, don't worry. No, no, it's fine. I was basically saying, like, let's say me, I want to start a startup.
Right, right,
I
right.
want to compete against Spend, maybe. How am I? How do I get? Well, obviously, you don't want to tell people how to compete against Spend, right? Well, forget about that. Let's say, I don't know. I just want to get into Web3, maybe become a KOL. Obviously, networking is a big part of that, right? I mean, that's how you first
Gotcha.
came in, right? You started with networking. Um, uh, right. So, yeah, that's what I want to know.
I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. How would you
Uh,
tell
uh,
someone to start?
yeah, yeah, great, great. Bringing that point back up. So, yeah, I think networking is really the most important and maybe sometimes underrated side of things.
Yes.
I'm very big into meeting people in person. I think meeting someone face to face, shaking their hands, goes way further than just sending someone a message over the internet.
So
Um,
true.
so so over
That's
like
very
the
true.
last few years, I've gone to different hacker houses, different conferences, nearby,
Did you go to
the
this?
Web3 activations.
Hacker House
Uh,
Dubai, did you go?
oh no, I didn't. I didn't. That actually would be a good one to go to. I've never been to Dubai, so I would definitely love to make it out there. But yeah, I think that I mean, I know we're working in a virtual
Environment.
environment, but we still have to keep like the human aspect of the relationships that we're building. And so I think the relationships that you build in person go way further and way quicker than any other
I totally
option.
agree. I totally agree. I feel like in person there's that level of respect that cannot be matched with an online presence, like
Exactly.
if I'm working for someone and I know them personally, versus if I just know them online, I feel like I have that pressure, to do a better job or to be more useful for the
Right.
project or brand that I'm working with, especially if I know them in person. So have you been to breakpoint of Solana
Not
many
yet, but
times? Me neither.
we actually plan on going this year,
I
which
think
is
it's
in
in Abu
December.
Dhabi, right?
It
That's
is. It
sick.
is. Yeah. It'll
That's
be my
sick.
first time out the States, so
That's so
that'll be
cool.
interesting.
That's so man. I remember. So I'm a student, right? And so Solana Breakpoint, they have this scheme where if you apply to be a student, you get a discounted ticket, like a very discounted ticket. And I
Nice.
applied, and I was like, "Holy crap! I got a really discount." I never ended up going, man. So I felt so bad,
Yeah.
getting that ticket
Yeah.
and not using it.
I
Okay.
hear that.
So conferences, definitely something you guys like to do. Spend so far, obviously. Well, I'm assuming you guys haven't gone as a team yet because you guys are still in beta. But is that something that you guys want to do as a team? Maybe set up a workshop somewhere where you could speak with potential investors or even people that have used your product before. Is
Yeah.
that something cool that you guys would do?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. As I was mentioning, we do plan to go to Breakpoint, but also that's why we're out here at Mountain Dow.
Hmm.
I think it's been a really great experience, and actually talking about being at different conferences and being at different events. Like I feel like I've gotten the most value here than I actually have going to conferences, just because everyone here is a builder. Versus like at a conference, you get a mix of different types of people, but
So,
being able to talk to the different types of builders and their perspectives and what the problems they're trying to solve,
so
it's
are you
just a
guys
different
just
environment.
yeah? Are you guys surrounded by all these different builders that are building actual
In
projects? So like,
Solana. Yep.
right. So is there that sort of relationship where maybe if you guys need help, you can be like, hey guys, help me out with this. I need help. Are you helping other? Do you guys all help
Ex-
each other, or you guys
Yep.
just yes?
Yep. Yeah, that's
That's really
exactly how
cool.
it's working. Everybody, actually, people here from the office have been using Spend. They've been ordering items to the office. But the great part is everybody here is trying to help each other. Um, everybody's testing and giving feedback, and I think if you're building something and you want to be able to get quick feedback that you can iterate on that's valuable, like this is definitely the type of environment
And I
to be
imagine
in.
it's easier to be productive, right? When you're
Right. Yep.
surrounded by these people that are, just head on their laptop hours at a time. Um, uh,
Exactly.
right. Actually, one thing I wanted to mention was that being an entrepreneur, right, or working on your own thing, um, uh, have you ever struggled with disciplining yourself to actually put in the hours? Because obviously, if you are contracted or if you were employed somewhere, let's say you were a nurse, right? You'd have no choice but to put in the hours, show up, do
Right.
that thing, right? Because otherwise, you're not getting paid. Whereas here, you're not getting paid. You need to put in more hours probably than had you worked um, as a
Yeah.
nurse, right? So how do you, like, it must be difficult to discipline yourself to be like, hey, I need to do this, or else, like, things are gonna get delayed. People are not gonna trust me. Like, I have a lot. I'm responsible for a lot of work right now. So how do you deal with that? You really need to discipline yourself. I feel like.
Right. Yeah. No, that's another great question. I feel like it is very hard, and I feel like there's been plenty of times throughout my journey where I was like, man, do I really want to keep working this hard, or do I want to keep pushing through? I feel like
Yeah, like
um,
you could take
it's
a
human
break
nature. I feel
tomorrow
like
if you
it's
wanted
I feel
to.
like it's human nature. Yeah, it's human nature. Um, but I think what just keeps me going is a there's no really backup plan for me other than building and making whatever I build successful. So that's one
Right.
thing that drives me. And then really the other thing that drives me is I feel like I have very strong vision, and so what I see coming to life, like I just hold on to that for dear life, because if you don't have a reason why you're waking up to do something in the
That's
morning, like
really
it's going to be very
important.
hard to stay motivated. But yeah, like I said, I mean, there's times where it can be hard, and I just think that's human nature, and I think having people that support you and can give you some motivation in those moments is very crucial. I feel like I
Right.
try to surround myself with people that support me and will be there to pick me up when I'm down, because we're all gonna
It's
fall down at some point.
we are, and it's not easy at all. I mean, first of all, number one, there's so much competition, right? Number two, right? I mean, you're basically your own boss, so there's nobody telling you what to do, especially if you're
Right.
at the top of the startup, right? Or if it's your thing. You have the flexibility to do what you want when you want, so that basically makes it a bit difficult to be like, okay, I need to stay focused. You need to stay tunnel vision, as Kodak Black says, right? So,
There you go. That's a good one.
good one, eh? Good one. Good. I got that on the spot.
Yeah, I'll give you I'll give you that one.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So no, I'm glad that you said it's good to have a support system. It's good to be really focused. Always remember why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because
Hmm.
the moment you lose track, it's so hard to build. It's so easy to break everything, right? I mean, it can
Hmm.
just happen overnight if you're not careful, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, um, a bit more on spend. How big is the team right now? You guys said you guys are in beta. You have a co-founder, who was your neighbor or your brother's neighbor, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. How big is the
Yes.
team right now? Do you guys have an in-house team of developers that are keeping the site alive and the servers and the backend and stuff like that? Tell me a bit about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Right now, the team, we're three deep. So we got two developers heads down, which is I'm one of them, and then I also, like I said, handle the operational side of things. So I develop in between that, and then we have Jude, which is our CMO, and he helps us with our marketing side of things and uh, keeping everything going for our social media. So yeah,
Okay.
we're running pretty lean, and I think, I've been I'm impressed with what we've been able to do, being bootstrapped and with who we have. But I think we have the right people to continue to keep bringing this to life.
And are you guys all in Salt Lake City, or are you guys as in are you guys are all in the States?
So me and Kent we're based in the States, and we're out here in Salt Lake, and Jude is based in Nigeria.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Yes, like I was saying, there are many people in Nigeria in the space. I've noticed
Yeah.
that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is why your application actually is useful for people that live in these, countries that don't have
Right.
access, as we were saying. Um,
Absolutely.
okay, okay. Man, I think this has been really insightful. I'm not gonna lie. Um, um, we'll make some closing remarks soon. But first off, thank you very much for telling me about Spend, about your journey, and how things are going. I know you guys are in beta. You guys are gonna go live soon. Um, how did you approach the beta testers? Actually, was it just the team, or did you guys try and give out some beta keys to some people? I know you mentioned that some people, the builders around you, are also using it. Um, uh, how long
Yeah.
will this period last?
Sure. Yeah. So we started off with the beta pass. So it was like closed down to the people that had the NFT, which was about 20 people. And yeah, we wanted to make sure that we could have a small, tight knit group of people that were testing it out so we could
Yeah,
really work out some of the bugs.
it's
But
easier to get
really,
feedback that way.
right. And then most of the orders that we've gotten have been since we started getting over here at Mountain Dow. And that's why I think, it's anybody trying to get your product like tested and more exposure, and really everybody here is the target demographic. Everybody here is a crypto user, everybody has crypto, and so everybody's been more than willing to test it out and provide insightful feedback.
Right.
Um so yeah,
I mean,
we
you guys, I feel like you guys are positioning yourselves very good, obviously, because I feel like as time passes, more Web2 users are being onboarded to Web3, and then you're already positioned to be able to handle that traffic. Obviously, people like to spend; everybody spends, right? So,
right.
um, um, it's good. I feel like the mass adoption hasn't happened yet, for many reasons, and it's definitely good to position yourself before it happens, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay. Um, uh, Thank you very much, Joss, for the conversation. Have you got any closing remarks? Anything you want to say or haven't said yet? Feel free
Yeah,
to do so.
absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate y'all taking the time to have us on here to, give a little bit about my journey and what we have building here. As I've said before, I think we're building something to solve a major pain point for many people in this space. And one last thing I wanted to touch on that I didn't get to is um, mobile app is coming soon within the next couple of weeks for the Seeker phone, and we're
Is
really
this on
excited about that.
iOS and Google
And
Play
just
and
just
Android?
Android, just
Android.
Android
Okay.
for the moment. Yeah,
I know
we do
iOS
plan
is
to
a
do
bit of a
iOS.
pain. Yeah,
It
it's
is.
it's
It is.
always the biggest pain. I
It
know.
is.
I know.
But yeah, we're pretty excited. We were able to launch or submit to the Solana Mobile Hackathon while we were here at Mountain Dow, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, and yeah, we're excited for bringing this experience to mobile because I think everybody or a large demographic is using Web3 on mobile, and so we want to make sure that we can create that same experience for mobile.
Right.
So
I
I'm
mean,
excited about that.
you definitely want to give people as much um, as much spending possibility as possible, right? You don't want to limit them to a PC version. So definitely,
Exactly.
apps are important. Um, uh, Anyways, thank you very much, Josh. I'm glad you enjoyed going through the journey. I think that it is as much as important as the product, if not more, because the journey is
Right.
very important. Many people don't understand that perhaps to get to where you were, you had to struggle a lot, or perhaps it
Hmm.
wasn't as clear as it may be now. Thank you for your time, Josh. I hope the questions were Up to par for you. I hope you. I'm really glad with the answers. I'm glad with the convo that we had, and I wish you good luck at the builders at Salt Lake. The environment
Awesome.
you shared seems very cool. So, good luck with that. Good luck with the company, the project. Um,
Thank you.
um, and that's that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.